I'm at the stage now where I need to lift and leader nearly all my shells. Everything's just about finished, all the pasting's done, everything's dry. I've just got this this 8-inch 3-break to finish off the spiking and another couple of layers of paste. Just a word on lift and leadering in general. The traditional way to lift and leader any shell is to bring the leader down to the fuse, whether it be a time fuse or a spolet, and then have a pass fire running down to the lift charge beneath the shell. And the reason it's done that way is purportedly because if you fuse it the other way around with the lift charge beneath it, I've heard it said that the time fuse can be sheared off in the blast, that the weakest point for entry of fire is around the fuse, reasons like that. But I actually bottom fuse all my small shells if they have time fuse. I put the lift charge directly under the shell, I run the leader down straight into the lift, and I've never had a time fuse shear off, and I've never had fire get into the shell and a flower pot because I haven't sealed the area around the fuse properly. I think if you seal the fuse properly, that shouldn't be a worry. Yes, there's more chance of it getting through, and if you put the fuse at the top, that reduces the chance of a flower pot for that reason. But I think if you've constructed your shell properly, there's no reason why you can't put it that way around. So that is what I do. My 3, 4, my 5-inch shells, I run the leader down, straight down into the lift charge, and I do it that way. Having said that, on any shell that's got a spolet, whether it's a 3-inch or an 8-inch or whatever, then I always run the leader down to the spolet, and the spolet is on the top of the shell. The pass fire runs down to the bottom to ignite the lift charge. And I do it because the powder core on the spolet is quite large. If it's a multi-break shell, you might only have 3/4 to an inch of powder length inside your spolet, and it's quite possible for the blast of the lift charge to blow the powder through the tube and into the shell and set the shell off in the gun. So any shell that's got a spolet should be top fused, and that's what I'm going to do with this shell here. Now I've got this is a 3-break 5-inch. They've been joined together with spiking. They've got 2 layers of paste wrap around to protect the string, the spiking string that's joining the shells together. Now ordinarily and traditionally, for the pass fire and for the leader into the shell, you'd roll yourself a tube like this. This is about 3/8 diameter, and I roll these out of 30-pound craft paper, strips about 4 inches wide with the grain running in the long direction. It's much easier to roll it that way. And I roll it around a smooth aluminium rod. And then inside this tube you put lengths of black match, homemade black match. And then this would make your pass fire down the side, and you also use it for your leader. And I've actually run out of time. I've got very little time left. I haven't got time to make a lot of these nice traditional type pipe match sections. And the ones I have made, I've made for the 8-inch and for a couple of the 3-break 5-inch shells. So on these two, I've used quick match, commercial quick match. There's a lot of different types of quick match. I don't use the perchlorate one at all. I don't like it. This blue one has got black match inside, just nitrate-based black match, and I don't really like using this. It kind of looks a bit tacky, you know. It's plastic wrapping blue. It doesn't quite go in keeping with the work you've done on a shell like this. And I got some very nice paper-covered quick match. It's got really nice, well-coated strands inside it. So I use that on this kind of shell. I think if you're going to spend the time making nice shells like this, traditionally constructed cylinder shells with the right materials, you should make an effort to make it look nice, to finish it off properly. You know, take some pride in your work. You've made something which is a work of art. It's not just something you've slapped together on a Saturday afternoon instead of watching the cricket. And I hate to see shells that have got gobs of masking tape wrapped around the lift and leader bag. Lift and leaders in a plastic bag, they've got masking tape wrapped around the top. They look like some bloody pyrotechnic mummy, you know. I think it's a real shame to do something like that with something that's, as I say, a work of art. You know, you spend a lot of time making this and you've made it properly. It just takes a little bit of effort to make it look the part and make it look nice as well. So I spend a bit of time to finish it off properly. Now on the top of this one, this is where my final paste wrap ended up, and you can see I've torn back the strips here and folded them over. I like to just finish the top off with a piece of pasted paper. I just cut a circle out like this. This is £70 paper with a hole in it. It's pasted, and then I put it over the top here. This one I've done already, and you can see it just smooths all the folds out. It makes it one continuous piece and it holds everything down nicely. It looks nice. And it just laps up around the edge here about 1/4 inch. This I'm going to put a nice decorative wrap on it. I've got some nice paper with stars on, so I'm going to wrap it with that afterwards, and the top will be sort of natural craft paper finish. Now this one I've prepared the spolette already, like I normally do, and you'll notice I've brought the black match strands down to I've got a gap at the bottom here. I've got almost 1/2 inch where there's nothing. There's no string, there's no match or anything, and you'll see why in a moment. And as I say, I've used this paper covered quick match. I brought it down the side. I've covered it with a strip of gum paper. My lift charge is going to go under here. And then I brought it at the top, and I've left myself about 3.5 inches. I bent it over the top with some gum paper on there. Then it's got this piece of pasted paper on the top. This is one which I've put the pacifier on, but I haven't put the pasted paper yet on it. So you just wet just zoom this in a little bit. Just wet the top a little bit so that your paper sticks nicely to it. Bring this over the top. I'll tear it back just as you would when you're pasting a shell. If you just try and fold it over the edge, it doesn't lie very nicely. I'm just trying to make it look right, you know. I can't bring myself after all this work to just make the thing look like a pig's ear when you finished it. Okay, now make sure it's well adhered to it. Okay, that needs an hour or so to dry. Just smooths it out and makes it look nice. We'll just set that on one side. Okay, the next thing I want to see what weight we've got on this shell. It's 200 grams shy of 4 kilos, so 3.8 kilos. 3.8 times 2.2, 8.3 pounds. So I'll call it 8.5. 8.5 ounces is what I want to lift this shell. And being a multi-brake, I want to make sure I've got a second and an eighth on the initial spolet here, so it's obviously going to go off on the way up, and I wanted a fair way up before it goes off, so I want to put just a little bit more lift in than that. So I've got, the normal amount would be, an ounce per pound would be 8.5 ounces, so I'm going to put in 9.5 ounces. So I call an ounce 30 grams for simplicity. 9.5 times 30. I want 285 grams of lift charge in there. £285 grams. Let me just write that on the bottom of the weight. Now before I put the lift charge on, I want something to hold it in the bottom. So I use some £30 craft paper. Just turn that fan off. £30 craft paper, and I put 4 turns on it. And I'm going to paste the first couple of inches here. Make sure you get plenty on the edge. So I'll lap it up a couple of inches at the side of the shell. Stand. Okay, now I've got myself a lift pouch there, and the end of the quick match is down there in the bag. Now I want 285 grams of, I use 2FA to lift any shell this kind of size. Got to just paste the last edge of the paper here. Okay. Okay, now just pour your lift charge in there.